Good morning. We'll begin in 5 minutes. Everyone, please start making your way to your seats so we can start in a few minutes. Well, good morning to everyone. Thank you all for being here on what is a great day for the University of New Orleans. My name is Randy Bowler. I'm the Assistant Athletic Director for Communications here, and I'm joined on stage by our Vice President of Athletics and Recreation, Tim Duncan, and our new men's basketball head coach, Stacy Hollowell. We'd like to extend a special welcome to Coach Hollowell's family and his wife, Nicole, as well as our president, Dr. Kathy Johnson. After both Vice President Duncan and Coach Hollowell speak, we'll open the floor for questions. We ask that if you have a question, just raise your hand and we'll have a staff member to you with a microphone, and just be sure to state your name and your affiliation. With that, we'll hear from our Vice President of Athletics and Recreation, Tim Duncan. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. We appreciate all the work that you've done to get us here to this point, for sure. We're going to start with a few thank yous, and then I'll get out of the way for the entree for today. First of all, let me thank Marco Perez and his staff for setting up the arena as a place that we can come. We're having our Bruno Awards tonight, and he set it up early so we can take advantage of this wonderful location. So let's give him and his team a round of applause, please. Thank you, Marco. And of course, the person who entrusted me with making this decisions, but not only this decision, but hundreds of decisions on a daily basis, Dr. Kathy Johnson and Richard. Thank you so much. And today, we're here to talk about our coach. So we couldn't do that without another couple of key people on our team who helped us get here. First, Mr. Steve Stroud. Steve, where are you? Oh, there he is. Thank you. Steve was, we spent a lot of time together always, but over the past week, we spent a ton of time together. And it's amazing that just 1 week ago, the news came down from Coach Celeste, who we'd like to thank here in just a moment, that he was taking another position to be closer to home and family. And Steve and I went to work, and the very next call after talking to Coach Celeste and to Steve was to Renaissance Search and Consulting, my good friend, Herb Courtney. Herb, thank you for being here. Herb's gotten to know us pretty well over the past year. He helped with our women's basketball search and our wonderful coach, Trelane Powell. And he and I just love talking basketball with him as a former coach and as a leader of the search industry. It's just a pleasure just talking basketball with him about philosophies. And he helped for us to check our blind spots. For sure, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. I'd also like to welcome Coach Tim Floyd. Where are you, Coach? Hall of Fame Coach Tim Floyd. Thank you so much. You'll hear in just a moment how Coach Floyd definitely impacted this hire from Coach, from Stacy's perspective. But for me, Coach Floyd was in vacation in France. And we talked multiple times, long distance from France, about basketball, about what he thought about the position, the opportunity, and of course, our featured guest today. So thank you, Coach Floyd. And also, I'd like to acknowledge any current or former student athletes that are in attendance. Turk, that means you. And any other student athletes, Mr. Rebold, a few others. Thank you, Fred Hill. Thank you so much for your legacy here. We're always glad to have privateers back, and once a privateer, always a privateer, of course. I know Coach will thank his former Loyola student-athletes and colleagues here shortly. I also want to thank Nicole and Emma and Jet and Jax and Aaron, who isn't here. But he's a fourth member of the kids. Thank you so much for allowing us to have Coach Stacy. I know that, my wife, let me acknowledge my wife, Lisa, before I get in trouble. Lisa Duncan right here. We've moved, thank you. We've moved 6 times, so we understand the position that you all are in. And we've had to negotiate certain things with our children to make sure that they're happy, because a happy wife and a happy family means that he can do his job. And he's happy, and I know you all coming back here is going to be a wonderful thing. So thank you and the family for being so supportive of him and moving all around the country, and with this most recent move back home that we hope to have him here for a very, very long time. All right, the question you all want to know is why Stacy Hollowell? Many of you know the reason why because you've gotten to know him. He's first of all, he's just a good man. He is a good dude. He fell in love with the girl on the bus in the 7th grade. Was able to recruit her. That's how I know he's a great coach. He's a great recruiter. Good job, Coach. He was able to recruit her into the fold, and we're super happy about that. But he's a good man. He is never met a stranger. He, like my daughter always said, Dad, you're famous because people in the grocery store talk to me. He's even more famous because he's the favorite son back home. We're super proud of that. So he's a very good man. That's obviously a prerequisite. You have to be a good person for us to bring you on our team. And then his coaching acumen. His coaching acumen stands for itself. A record of 166 and 78, but more than just that, he's probably the most accomplished coach that we've brought as a privateer with being a national championship coach. And for people who don't think that's significant, a national championship at any level means you've done a hell of a job. So he's done a hell of a job with coaching, not only just X and O's, but I've had a chance to see him interact with some of his former student athletes, Ben, for example, and the relationship dynamic between him and them is something that I want for all of my coaches to have, and many of them have them, and that's something that's very, very important, the relationship that he has with our student athletes. Obviously, he's a tie to our glorious past. We talked about, Coach Floyd. I'll let him talk a little bit more about that. But there's a connection, a direct connection between him and the time when University of New Orleans was feared in college basketball. And that is very, very special. He has a great relationship with Coach Maestri. He has a great relationship with Coach Floyd, and those are two important figures that we have, and he has a direct tie with those men. And then he's a local boy. As someone who moved from outside of here, even though Memphis is similar to New Orleans, it's not quite New Orleans, but to bring someone who grew up in the New Orleans metro area is tremendous. And I've learned that from you all, how much that means to have someone who loves this city, who's a native of the city, to come back home. And that's something that I'm super, super excited about, to have someone who's as accomplished as he is to come back home and lead the only university in this city with our name across the chest. That is very, very important. And I'm super excited to see him, to watch him continue to work, because we spent a lot of time over the past few days, and just the number of calls that he's received, calls, texts, emails from people who want to send him players, which is good, but also men and women who want to work for him. I think that's impressive and says a lot about him. Oh, let me thank also Johnny Jones, who is here. Johnny, the head coach of Texas Southern University. Johnny, thank you so much for allowing us to steal a member of your staff. We appreciate you, man. I've known Johnny a long time, and he's a great person. And he called me during the process on Stacy's behalf, and he told me words that were reaffirmations for me. I'd heard them before, but it's always great to hear them from the person that he works for specifically. And then we also have Tick Price, one of our most successful coaches, who was our voice of our radio. Thank you, Coach, for being here, who's now the general manager for basketball for the Southland Conference. So, and the many other guests that we have here, we're definitely appreciative of you all being here. We have members of our executive cabinet. Thank you so much. This is a big hire for the university, and it shows the significance by having our president and our executive cabinet here along with all of you. So, again, we're super excited about this. But, again, let me get out of the way and introduce the man who will be the leader of privateer basketball, our 13th head coach, Coach Stacy Hollowell.
Tim thanked everybody that I had on my list to thank, so I guess we'll wrap it up. I got you. Guys, we're super excited, our family, to be the next head coach at the University of New Orleans. This is a lifelong dream for us. Before I go into my thank yous, I just want to show some appreciation for Coach Mark Schlesinger, his dedication to our program, to our city. Fantastic human being, and would just like you guys to show a round of applause for Coach Schles. First, I would like to thank God. His timing is unbelievable, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a bit, but I'd like to thank my wife, Nicole, our son, Aaron, my daughter, Emma, Jet, and Jax, my mom, my grandmother, Lois Harris, Mom, Libby Cole, my father-in-law, Jack Mader, and my mother-in-law, Debbie Mader, for being here. Their support, their sacrifice, my wife and I have moved, this will be our 6th house in the last 3 years, some by choice, some not by choice, but the burden that we've put on them, on the kids to change schools, and on my wife to help us pack and move has been heavy. So much appreciation for you guys, and I love you so much. Our president, Dr. Kathy Johnson, thank you for trusting me in this. I saw an article that described you as collaborative and a servant leader, and I think my guys would maybe describe me the same way. So I'm looking forward to working with you. I would like to thank Mr. Tim Duncan, our Vice President of Athletics and Recreation, and Steve Stroud, Assistant Vice President of Athletics and Deputy AD. Herb Courtney and Adam Gordon with Renaissance Search and Consulting. Thank you, guys. The number of highly qualified candidates that applied for this job is not lost on me. Some really, really impressive folks. And there are so many people that are really good coaches that don't get this opportunity, and that's not lost on me at all. So very appreciative of your trust in me. I'd like to thank my youth coaches and my high school coaches for being great examples, for inspiring me to want to coach. A gentleman named Terry O'Donnell asked me to coach 17 through 21-year-old youth basketball when I was 17, and I told him no thanks. And he said, come on, you'll be fine, just do what you do at practice. And we went undefeated and won the championship, and I thought I was John Wooden, and I was hooked on this. And then I coached 11 and 12 biddy basketball in Mandeville, and my first stud basketball player, Mr. Brian St. Cyr, sitting right here. So, Brian, thank you for coming. All of my former players and their families, people that help encourage and kind of fuel my passion for coaching. I'd like to thank my Loyola family. A lot of them are here today. Really appreciate you guys. Brett, thanks for trusting me. Coach Tim Floyd and his wife Beverly moved into our neighborhood when I was young. Coach, I want to thank you for just being an absolute rock star in this town, for showing us what it's like to fill this place up, to connect with the community, and to build a program that was just unbelievable and drove my passion to coach. I'd like to thank Coach Joey Steibing, another former UNO head coach, who offered me the opportunity to travel the world and learn from some of the best coaches in the world. Dr. Mike Giorlando and his wife, Judy Giorlando, showed me the value and the importance of working with high-quality people, people of character, taught me how to help build character, how to build trust within our team. He's a lifelong mentor of mine, one of the best human beings that I know. I'd like to thank Kermit Davis and his wife, Betty Davis, for giving us the opportunity to go to Ole Miss and to kind of peek behind the curtain of the SEC to see what that world was like and to really set me on the path to land here at UNO. And I'd like to thank Coach Johnny Jones and his wife, Kelly, for the trust that he's put in me, for the love and support that he's shown my family. We had an unbelievable year this year and just a great time coaching in the SWAC with him at Texas Southern. And there's hundreds of other people that I would like to thank, but out of respect for your time, I'll keep it short. We're looking forward to engaging with our past greats, Gabe Corciani, Irvin Johnson, Leonard Bennett, Bo McCaleb, and many others. I mentioned earlier God's timing. I just want to maybe talk off script here a little bit. In 1986, my family moved from Shreveport, Louisiana to Mandeville. And we looked all over. We looked in Slidell, and ultimately we landed in Mandeville in a neighborhood called Beau Rivage. And I got on the bus one day, and there was this beautiful little girl sitting It was kind of like Forrest Gump and Jenny, you know. She didn't ask me if I could sit next to her, but anyway, I remember one day she got off the bus and she was walking home, and I remember thinking to myself, wow, like, I want to marry a girl like that. And then my sophomore year, she disappeared. I never saw her again. And 2005, I got a forwarded email. I was living in Qatar in the Middle East. She was living in Dallas. And as I scrolled down, there was, chains of names. And as I scrolled down, my mouse pointer stopped on her name. And I sent a quick email, not expecting any returned message. Did we go to school together? And that started conversations that lasted for months. Job changes took me all over the world, but I was asked to come to Dallas to interview for a job, and she was living in Dallas. And we reconnected. I met with her and her brother, and that set us on the path for our marriage. About a year after we moved to New Orleans, I was dribbling the ball down the street and went to put my camp form in the mail for another university, which I cannot name at this time. And on the way back, this man pulled up next to me in what looked like an unmarked cop car. And he said, hey, do you know who I am? And I had heard that the new basketball coach for UNO was moving in the neighborhood. And I said, yes, sir, I know who you are. And he said, well, I would like to invite you to come to my camp this summer. And I said, well, I need to go talk to my mom and see if she'll allow me to go. I just put my camp form in the mail down there for another school. And he said, well, I don't know about that camp, but you can come to my camp for free. So from there, I went to basketball camp here in this arena every year into high school. The amount of kids that came to camp here was unbelievable. The energy was great. We started coming to games, and this place was packed. The energy here was electric. This place was rocking, and that's my hope for where we'll go. I've coached games in close to 30 countries. I've coached at all levels of college basketball, but this job is the job that I've always wanted. And had we not moved to that neighborhood and chosen that particular neighborhood, I very likely wouldn't be married to Nicole, and I very likely would not be standing here before you. So when I talk about God's timing being amazing, that's what it's meant for me. Moving to our team, some of you have seen us play. Our style of play will be fast and aggressive, will be physical, we'll get up and down, and it's going to be a style of play that's fun to watch. And we've got to build a roster. We don't have many returners right now, but we're all over recruiting. We're working the portal, and we're going to put a team on the floor that's going to be successful sooner rather than later. And we're going to need your support. The Metro New Orleans community is a huge part of this. The growth that I look forward to building here, really want to expand our relationships in the business community. So buy your season tickets now. Go get your gear from the bookstore, because this is going to be a whole lot of fun. All right, when we get it rolling, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So we're looking forward to building this journey with you. Hope you come along with us. Thank you again for your trust in me. And let's grow this thing together. Let's go, Privateers.
Hey. Thank you so much, Coach Hollowell. Now we'll open up for questions. Again, if you have a question, just raise your hand. A staff member will be by with a microphone, and state your name and affiliation before asking your question.
Go ahead, Ed. We're waiting on you. Go ahead, Ed.
I don't need a mic.
Excuse me. Back up. Right here. Here's a question right here.
Go get his question.
Okay. You had a question over here?
Right here.
Here you go, sir.
Hey, Coach, can you talk about I know you said you're going to win sooner rather than later. We're going to hold you to that. Of course, I will. But
I know that.
yeah. But as far as what needs to happen, like in the next few months, can you talk about your vision about what you plan to do to get it rolling as quickly as you can?
Yeah. So we've obviously got to be in the portal. We've got to scour the junior college circuit, find high school seniors that will help put us on the map. And you know, just when you talk about roster construction, if a guy can play, we'll take him. I'm not worried about how old they are. We're looking for mature, tough-minded, focused, young professionals. And so we'll fill our roster out with those types of guys, and we'll get after it right away as soon as we can start summer school and working out. Yeah, he asked about the New Orleans area high school kids.
Yes.
When Coach Floyd was building the team here, I think he took guys from all over, but there were certainly some local guys that were really good, and yeah, we will focus on the New Orleans community for sure. Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Oh, now we get into the tough ones here.
What up, Coach?
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How you doing?
I'm great.
So from playing in the Southland myself, what do you look forward like to coming into the conference the most?
You know, just the competitiveness. I feel like the coaches that are coming into this league are obviously there's some high profile guys in this league. I know there's some really good coaches that were recently hired in this league, and so competing against those teams, I know there's some challenges out in front of us.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm here for, man. That's what I love.
So you talked a little bit about your playing style. That playing style really is, I would say, kind of broken in this conference. Like, it's a good playing style to play and to follow by. What do you think would help that, like, be easier? Like, what would you think would help your playing style be a little easier for you as a coach?
Well, we've got to recruit the guys that fit that style, and we've got to talk about the details that are important in playing that way. You know, we've had teams that weren't great at playing that way, and when that happens, you kind of turn the Rubik's Cube and you know, throw enough puzzles at the opponents until you can find something they can't solve, and that's what I plan to do. Hey, Coach.
Here you go, right here.
Thank you. How's it going, Coach? Spencer Urquhart with the Times-Picayune.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. So yeah, my question for you would just be, I know Louisiana right now, baseball is definitely a baseball state, but basketball, you know, not as many programs. I know UNO is once a great program, so I guess my question would be just, what is your plan to get UNO back to being one of those top programs?
Well, we've got to get the guys and put the product on the floor that bring people here, right? And we've got to build relationships in the business community and I say the business community with youth sports and all of that, right? That's a big piece of it. When Coach Floyd was here, his program was the main marketing arm for this university, and you could argue for the city of New Orleans in some ways. And so I got a chance to see that a little bit, and that'll be my plan, is to put a team on the floor that's fun to watch, that's exciting to watch, to put people back in these seats, and to market our university in a way that's positive for everybody.
One more question.
Oh, Coach,
Yes,
Jude
sir.
Young, Crescent City Sports, UNO Athletics, the ticket 106.1 FM.
Just wanted to know if you were at liberty at this time to talk a little bit about your plans for the coaching staff.
Well, we have one guy here that was with me when I was at Loyola, and he'll be returning, Javon Felix. We have a very collaborative relationship. It's a guy that I trust. It's a guy that has a fantastic reputation in the community, fantastic reputation through college basketball and professional basketball. He's got a lot of relationships, and so he will be with me. The other guys can't really discuss at this time, but we've got plenty of guys lined up, and the amount of calls and interest that we've had in those jobs has been, quite honestly, overwhelming. But it comes with the territory, and we'll make some announcements soon there. Thanks.
All right, before Randy comes over and talk about immediate availability, I did want to, I was remiss in not mentioning Mr. Gabe Corciani. Gabe, thank you so much for being here. He's another Privateer Hall of Famer. Thank you for being here today. And also, Coach mentioned it, but we will have some season ticket information here. And stay tuned for some wonderful news about NIL with the University of New Orleans and a collective that has suddenly gained a lot of momentum, if you catch my drift. So I'll let Randy tell what happened next.
Okay, so thank you all so much for coming out again. This is the conclusion of our press conference, but Coach Hollowell will be available in front of the backdrop for any additional questions or interviews. And then also, if you want to purchase tickets for next season for basketball, you can talk to Vince or Tori over there at the table on the right. So thank you all so much, and that's our ending, and go Privateers.